Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I'm Annika, and we are back with part 2 of our special PvP Dark Zone discussion for 1.6 in preparation for the upcoming Elite Task Force in North Carolina. Signups are now closed, so if you didn't sign up, you are already too late. Until next time. Maybe next time? Question mark? I have no idea if they're going to do another one of these. It really depends on the year 2 content that was supposedly leaked. The leaked content on Reddit. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Anyways, the last video we talked about what it would look like if we had a PvE Dark Zone. And it's always a mixed bag with the comments that I get from doing these Dark Zone videos and Let's Talks. And I know adding in new and enjoyable content for people that aren't you isn't always the what people want, especially rogues who prey upon people who are just in the Dark Zone to get loot. Those are the only people who hate the idea of a PvE Dark Zone because it removes those people from the Dark Zone, and because well, those rogues would have to go and actually try and kill real PvPers, and let's face it, most of the people who PvP and prey on people in the Dark Zone aren't actually good enough to do actual PvP combat. So, while we're talking about PvP combat, that is what today's Let's Talk is going to cover. How can we possibly make PvP combat better than it is right now? How can we improve it to the point where it's actually fun and worth doing? Well, let's go ahead and discuss this. First of all, we need to actually have PvP content. As I previously said, we just need PvP content, which means going in with a enter rogue or enter as a group where you have two opposing factions within the Dark Zone. This is always a mixed bag too, because if you are one or the other, you are easily identifiable. And if you are rogue and you see another player, well, then they're going to know that you're rogue and they might run away and not trust you. This removes the element of douchebaggery that you see from your typical rogue who comes up, talks crap to your face, and then decides to melt you down. I personally would like to see a new gear set. I don't want to see them implement a select rogue, select agent. I want to see them implement a gear set. And attached to this gear set is the perks. And so instead of walking in and choosing one faction or the other, you would actually have Dark Zone specific gear sets that you can, with the right bonuses, identify you as an agent or a rogue agent. These gear sets would benefit going rogue or staying an agent greatly, or either way, one or the other. So let's give an example here. Let's say the Banshee set is the middle of the road, because right now that it benefits both rogue and non-rogue players. It has the benefit of it gives you whatever the 4-piece is. It gives you a benefit for being rogue, and it also gives you a benefit for not being rogue. But what if there was a gear set aimed specifically at being rogue? Like wearing 4 pieces would grant you a special, a potential bonus like going rogue boosts damage to non-rogue agents, or 50% damage resilience when being shot from behind, because let's face it, most of the time when you see a rogue, it's because they're running away from you or you're dead. So on the other side of this, you could have an agent gear set that prevents you from going rogue. The 4-piece set would prevent you from going rogue, while making it so that any damage done to other agents is automatically reduced to 0. So you could just run up, shoot an agent, and it would be 0. You'd never go rogue. So, meaning that you would never, end up going rogue while you're shooting at rogues. This would also remove one of the biggest problems in the game, and that would be, it would remove the rogue's ability to actually put people in front of them, and it would, there would be no more rogue shields or rogue blockers. This would eliminate that purpose altogether, thus angering rogues even more, because that's what they do. Rogues are the typical ones that are ruining the game, are the douchebags. And I saw this video the other day of the typical rogue. I wish I could just put it in the comment section, because this guy was your typical douchebag rogue, where he walks up to this guy and he's like, dude, you need to leave or we're gonna kill you. And like, that's the, it was something, he was in the Extraction or something like that. Honestly, if you do that stuff, you're a douchebag and you shouldn't be playing this game. Like, just go play outside with somebody who would actually whoop your ass. So there are a lot of solutions to these ideas, and to enable a fair and balanced Dark Zone. We just need to come up with them and give them to Massive and Redstorm and allow for the changes to take place. Now, the one thing I think that needs to change is how combat works. 99% of the time, PvP works like you run up to someone, shoot them, and then run away, leaving them dead because they were 5 inches away from you and you just shot them in the head and emptied a clip there, or you survive and you spend the next 90 seconds chasing a rogue around the map without ever having a chance to catch up to them. This is what needs to change, because there really isn't combat. It's literally getting within range and shooting someone if they're 5 feet away, or they're outside the checkpoint and they just keep killing you over and over again as you enter the checkpoint. It's garbage combat. There's no skill to it. It's just running around and getting mowed down by 4 people. So also, I think that using cover puts you at a disadvantage because movement is crippled when you're in cover. So the other players are just going to move around and shoot you. They're just going to move around the cover and shoot you. So for this, I would say that they need to add in weapon bonuses and accuracy while in cover to encourage using cover in the gameplay of PvP. Giving accuracy and a huge 50% bonus to damage while in cover would encourage users to use cover and put more options in the cover mechanic. Now, this is just a suggestion. There are others, I am sure. Hundreds of other ways that we could do this, but we need to encourage people to use cover, not just run up to somebody, shoot them in the head, and then run away. That's not PvP. That's not even combat. And that's 100% of what's going on right now is just you run up, there's a group, you run up, or you just get, it is what it is. I liked that they tried to do the 1.5 meters, or whatever the optimal range thing is, the bonuses for that. But in all honesty, the optimal range is right now is 5 meters away from somebody, or not 5 meters, but 5 inches away from somebody. Personally, for me, I think that, that one of the biggest suggestions I think that I could give is that they need to increase sniper rifle damage from a distance to encourage sniper rifle play. I personally would love to see an actual useful Hunter's Faith 4-piece bonus be actually useful in the game. And for that, you make it so that if you're 5 meters or 0.5 meters away from the player, your damage is multiplied by 2x. If you're 0.75 your meters away, your damage is multiplied by 3x. And if you're 1 meter full away from them, or whatever it is, that would be a fairly good distance, you get a 4x damage bonus. This will encourage people to actually snipe a lot more and remove that distance. And I think that they need to remove the going down. So if you get sniped in the head, maybe one of the perks of the Hunter's Faith or the Deadeye gear set, Deadeye gear set needs to be changed as well. Deadeye and Hunter's Faith need to be changed to actually be more viable for using in Dark Zone and actual gameplay altogether. But one of the things is that if you get a headshot on the player, then they automatically die. There's no picking them up. They just go down, automatically die. There's no picking them up, because a lot of times that's why people don't use snipers, is because you shoot them and they just go down and they're just on their knees. There's no way to kill somebody from a long way away with a sniper rifle, or make it so that, it's only, one shot and they die. It's not, no matter what, if they're on the ground and you one-shot them with a sniper rifle, they're dead. It doesn't matter, because right now there's just no way to do it at a ranged combat. That's why people don't do it. The easiest way to kill somebody is by hitting them when they're down, and that's the stupidest thing I can think of. You should have to kill the person. You should have to do a 3-second execution. I would be in favor of them adding in executions to the game and make it so that, you can't just run up and hit them. You actually have to do an execution, which would allow other players to shoot you and stop you and prevent you from doing the execution. Just shoot them, run away, or run up to them and give them a good old elbow to kill them and finish them off. What is that not am I wrong in thinking that's totally completely dumb? Or put a knife attack in there, put it so that instead of elbowing, you're stabbing them with a knife, or something like that. But elbowing them to kill them, that doesn't make any sense. So it's just whatever it is. I like that they tried to do with the sniper rifles. I like that they had, the 1.5 meters above the player does more damage on the M700. But honestly, if you're 1.5 meters above an enemy, you're really most likely just hitting the edge of the building, because the way that ledges work in this game is absolutely terrible. They have no ability to lean over or anything like that. And I would be in favor of a gear set that lets you lean over the edge of a building. I mean, that would be great. So anyways, that's my time. I know there are always going to be disagreements in the comment section because some people just want to keep things pointed in their favor. The game's going to change, and sadly, you don't have a choice as to whether or not it's going to change in your favor. I have no control over it either. These videos, they're just suggestions, and it's mostly just out of the fact that they're doing an ETF for PvP and darkzone that I'm doing these videos anyways, because my personal opinion is this: the darkzone is probably at the best shape it's been in since before the introduction of gear sets. Yes, that is my point. Gear sets have ruined the darkzone, and sure, there are still meta mongers out there running Alpha Bridge, but there really isn't the all-powerful meta like one-shot shotgunners from 1.3. And what they're cruising around the DZ or whatever, but they're not really changing the darkzone. I feel like it's very fair and balanced in the darkzone right now, and because there are now better ways to get loot, the DZ is really reserved just for the PvPers to have at each other. Changing that is only going to put more ruin in the balance of the game that is there right now. If I really had one thing that I would like to see in addition to the Dark Zone is putting hunters into the DZ. Whether it's a PvE or PvP Dark Zone, I don't really care. I think that the hunters need a place in the actual game outside of survival. I think they need to be utilized more, and seeing a hunter chase down a rogue and steal the kill before your group gets to them, that would be spectacularly hilarious, because hunters actually have an increased run speed over agents, and instead of watching the rogues run through groups of enemies unscathed only to have the enemies turn and shoot you, the hunter would chase them down and kill them. I would be fully on board of watching this happen, especially when the hunter kills that guy and then comes after your team, or something like that where other hunters join in. It would be awesome. I would be in favor of hunters going into the Dark Zone and actually being a part of the real game as opposed to just being in survival. So thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it mildly entertaining or just alright, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more engaging talks on the Division and whatever else we do. Let's Talk on occasionally. I'm going to have a little bit more in the future, some Let's Talks with some groups of people, because I got some people that I think have some pretty good opinions on how this game should be. Whether or not it's you, that's really what it is. But I'll be bringing in Infamous and some other people that have some pretty strong opinions. They're Division lifers, they love the game, and they only want to see better things for it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for supporting the channel. So for all of us here at the Division Let's Talk, I'm Mounty Curl, and we'll see you out in the cold. Agent out.